Hey y'all, it's Thursday. That means it's time for another episode of the Late Night Vision Show, and we are back to our best of series. And for all y'all out there with deep pockets, we got the best high-end thermal scope. We're gonna be running down the list. My buddy Jason's gonna help out. We're gonna talk about these scopes, list of contenders as always. We're gonna pick our honorable mention. We're gonna pick our favorites. But Jason, welcome back, man. We had our Rick Storm S6 review last week. This week we're back to the high-end thermal scope list. Excited to get through this, man.
We are. It's funny. You started off. I didn't realize you were starting. I was taking a drink of Coke, and then you started talking about deep pockets, and I thought this guy's got
Yeah,
to be kidding. I'm like, man, he's serious. He's this
I
is
am.
this is the real
Yeah.
deal. So I'm going to tell you something about this list here. So guys, first of all, welcome to the show. Glad to have y'all back. We are getting close to a wrap. Not
Yeah.
quite, but getting really close to a wrap on our best of 2024 series. We've got at least one more show. I'm saying at least one more. Hans is gonna be like, "What?" But I wanna talk about it. We still got to do the handhelds. We're gonna talk about some other stuff. But this week is the high end optics. But this list, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There are some expensive scopes on here, but I think that it is amazing to me that what the prices are doing on this list and what the
Hmm.
quality is doing, because it is a very different landscape than it was 1 year ago when we
Oh
sat
gosh.
in these same places
Yeah.
and recorded this same high end show for 2023. It is truly a different landscape. And so Hans, real quick, I'm going to let Hans read off these optics. I do want to give a quick disclaimer. I don't really think it's going to be a big deal on this list. Sometimes it happens on the small, or the
Hmm.
not smaller, the less expensive list. Somebody says, "Oh my gosh, guys, you did not mention the XYZ scope or the
Yeah.
XYZ brand, and this is my favorite, and I own one, and it's great, and why didn't you mention it?" or something like that. And what this boils down to is are our favorites. These are the
Hmm.
brands that we trust. These are the brands that we're willing to put our name behind, because they're the brands that we sell at Outdoor Legacy. So all of these scopes and all of these brands are
Hmm.
tested by us, vetted by us, the companies are, and they're recommended by us. You may
Hmm.
have another brand or another scope that you like, but for some reason, it's just not on our list by our choices of what we like right
Hmm.
now. There's some optics that may have been on this list before and are not now. And it could just be, hey, that was a great optic a year
Hmm.
ago. And it's
Yeah.
maybe still a good optic. We just don't think that it fits in as well as the
Hmm.
technology maybe has moved past it. So, anyway, things
Yeah.
come and go on these lists. It is technology, it's always changing. Here is the most important takeaway from this entire show. And people are like, what is that? And that is, we would love to have your business at Outdoor Legacy. Commercial alert. Guys, Hans and I, we do the podcast every single week. But what we do for a living is we sell thermal and night vision rifle scopes and optics at outdoorlegacy.com. You can call us and talk to us about what is right for you. Our advice, whether you want to buy a $2,000 scope or a $10,000 scope, we really advise you to call us first and make sure that you're purchasing the right optic before you make that purchase at Outdoor Legacy. Once you've got it decided on, the ladies in our office will be happy to take the order over the phone, or you can go to the website and do it there. But we'd love to have your business. 877 350 1818. Guys, this show right here, I'm going to let Hans jump into reading this list. There are some really, really good optics, some
Hmm.
new contenders on here. Again, Hans, I'm going to let you have it. I do want to make one quick mention, Hans, that we didn't talk about before the show, but the you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it now. I'll just go ahead rather than me trying to signal you here. The top scope on here, the most expensive scope, is the Infrared Outdoor Rico RS75. That scope, the official price on it is $15,999. There was a really good promo running on it last year about this time around Thanksgiving. But that scope, we're kind of throwing it on here. We hate to not mention it, but it has been officially discontinued. It is not in production. We haven't been able to get those optics for many, many months. It is the very first thermal hunting rifle scope that was ever put onto the market in the US
Hmm.
above a 640 resolution. This scope was a 1280 ultra high resolution, amazing image quality, great scope. And it took the top honors last year, absolutely ran away with it because there was
Yeah.
nothing that could even compare to it. Crazy part here is that Hans is going to tell you here in a minute about a scope that InfraRay has that is less than half this price, that I would argue is actually better for most people. So
Hmm.
anyway, just wanted to say that about that scope because people are going to say, hey, why didn't y'all talk about the RS-75? It's not that we don't like it. It was a super amazing scope. It still is. I mean, it
Yeah.
is phenomenal. If you own one, you know what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
amazing technology. But I just wanted to say that the market has kind of moved on here where InfraRay has. So anyway, Hans, take it away.
Yeah, so we talk about high-end thermal scopes, and we kind of joke around and talk about deep pockets. And honestly, high-end, and if you're talking about price, isn't as high-end as it used to be, and your pockets don't have to be as deep as they used to have to be. Because honestly, you're getting a lot of picture quality. You get a lot of resolution for less money that you were. So we've got more over 640 resolution optics on this list than we've ever had this year, and I envision in the years to come, it's going to be dominated by over 640 resolution optics. So it is, again, we're talking about high end. It's really only high end in name only. These optics are getting more affordable. $6,000 to $10,000 is a lot of money, y'all. We understand that, but it gets you a lot more than it did before. So we're going to start out with this list without any further ado. And we're going to start with the Envision Knox 35. That is a 2.5 power base magnification for $6,795. Next, we have the InfraRay Outdoor Bolt TX60C. That's a 3 power base magnification. That's a 1024 by 1024 thermal optic. That's by InfraRay Outdoor. Their very first 1024 scope. As you know, Jason said they've already got the 1280, but this is their first 1024. And that is coming in at $69.99. That is not a sale price. So 3 power base magnification, 1024 resolution, $69.99. Then you have the Pulsar Thermion 2 XL50. And that is, again, that's a 1024 thermal scope from Pulsar, their very first rifle scope that's over 640 resolution. As you know, they already have monocular and binoculars, but this is their very first thermal rifle scope over 640 resolution. 1024 resolution, 1.75 base magnification. And the price on that this is the sale price. It's $69.99. And then we've got the InfraRay Outdoor Hybrid 75, and that's the LRF, and it's a 4 power base magnification. We talked a lot about this earlier in the year, Jason. Very, very popular scope for coyote hunters. But Hybrid 75 LRF 4 power base magnification. The price on that $79.99. Then you have the Envision Halo X50. That's a 3.5 power for $84.95. You got the Envision Halo XRF 3.5 power base magnification for $94.95, and that one has the laser rangefinder in it. And then, as Jason talked about, the now sadly discontinued the InfraRay Outdoor RS75. That's a 2 power base magnification, 1280 resolution scope for $15,999. There's a huge gap, but I will say, even though it's discontinued, they put in a pretty bomb of a scope this year
Yeah,
with the
agree.
TX60. Anyway, so that's the list. Very short this week, Jason.
All
Not a
right.
lot of contenders, but we got a lot to say about a few of them.
Yeah, I want to jump in here. We're gonna do this briefly so we can spend a little more time on our favorite picks, and that's what we're gonna do here in just a minute as I go over these. Hans and I will basically give our personal choice favorite, and then we'll give an honorable mention after that. So the Envision Knox 35. That scope has been around several years. Most people probably watching this are familiar with it. It's a small, simple scope. It doesn't have any of the bells and the whistles. So if you're looking for an optic that, again, no video recording, none of that kind of stuff. I mean, you just want a simple, high-end optic. That is an option for you. Next, we've got that infrared outdoor bolt TX60C 1024 by 1024. It is the it's just an unbelievable scope. It's the first optic that we've seen above a 640 resolution, the first scope that is a 3 power. All right, so that's really the claim to fame here. Is if we look at the RS75 that we talked about here, it was a 1280, but it was only a 2 power, and so many people are like, I really want 3 power. I'm shooting longer distances. I'm shooting a lot out there at 100 yards or further, and I don't want to have to zoom up all the time. So infrared answered that with this 1024 3 power. Phenomenal image quality, great scope, 30 millimeter tube, works wonderful on a bolt action style rifle or on a AR-15 style rifle. That scope, we truly thought was probably going to be come in somewhere around that, my thoughts, $9,000 to $10,000 range, and they brought it in at $7,000. I mean, blew me away that it could come in at that price. Just probably too cheap. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably too cheap, but it just blew this list we've got right here wide open because it's the second least expensive scope on here. And it is, again, a 1024 3 power. I'm just going to hint to you, we're going to be talking more about that in a minute. Next is the Pulsar Thermion 2 XL50 LRF laser rangefinder. Now this scope actually came out before the Bolt TX60 did. So this was the second only above 640 optic ever to hit the market. I think we're going to have to quit talking about who's first, second, and third now because, like Hans said, there's just going to be more coming. I think we know that in the next 12 to 24 months, there'll be more and more 1024 and 1280 optics hitting the market. Love the XL50. Again, 30 millimeter tube, great on a bolt gun, great on an AR. Does have the laser rangefinder built into it, permanently attached. And another cool thing that Pulsar has gotten really good at is they have the ballistic calculator app. You can put all of your data in there, upload it, the profile, and then you've got ballistics. It is a 1.75 power. So I don't want to say too much here, but because we'll kind of get into this in a little bit, but this scope is very different than the TX60. So I think it's for two different people. I mean, a 1.75 power, a little less than 2 power and a 3 power. It just got different uses, but still a fantastic optic. That unit was originally $79.99. Now it's on sale for $69.99. I've got this gut feeling that price is probably going to stick around. It's been doing really well at that price, so I think Pulsar was probably going to leave it there. Moving on, this scope is a great scope. I mean, I'm really, really excited about this next one. It's the Infrared Outdoor Hybrid 75 LRF. Again, laser rangefinder. It's a 75 millimeter objective lens with a native optical 4 power base magnification. Hans and I did a review of this scope back in the summer, and I'm going to tell you, I don't even know that we did this scope justice in our review. It is, in my opinion, and I said this then, so I'll say it again, I think it is the best long-range thermal rifle scope ever made. And that's a big statement for me to say and for me to make that claim, but I think it is. I think for a guy who wants the laser rangefinder, wants that 4 power, because it is all about distance and range in big, wide open country, and you got the money, it's $79.99. This is the scope. I mean, it in my opinion, it blows a lot of the competition out of the water. Moving on, we've got the Envision Halo X50. And I'm going to combine these. We also have the Envision Halo XRF. These two optics, they're basically 8500 and 9500. The only difference between the two is that the XRF has the built-in laser rangefinder. Their 3.5 power base mag, again, great for more of your long range shooting. Take 18650 batteries. We really like that about the units. Very, very good. These are going to be your American-made units, so it's nice to have those on this list. I will go ahead and tell you that the XRF has been the winner of this category every year since it's come on to the market because it has truly been. I say that last year,
Yeah,
I
I
think
see what
it
you're doing
got
with
it got it dropped down one because of the RS-75. Before that, it has been the winner, so it's taken that place many many times. A very nice optic again with the built-in laser rangefinder in the 18650s. Like them a lot. Again, we've already mentioned the RS-75. So, guys, it's time.
It's time.
I know you want to know what they are. I've probably already spilled a little bit of the beans. Hans, why don't you start first? Tell us what your honorable mention is. I'll give my
Yeah.
honorable mention, and we're going to play some tic-tac-toe here.
I almost have like two honorable mentions because there's two really good scopes that deserve to
Okay.
be talked about here.
I will let you have two honorable mentions because a few shows ago, I think I had four or something like
Yeah,
that.
you did. You did. Yeah, that was a mess.
That was not a mess. That's not a mess. Too many good options. Is
Too
what that
many good
means.
options. Yeah. So what I would say my first honorable mention would have to be the Pulsar XL50 LRF. I mean, laser rangefinder, fantastic picture image, the bullet calculation capabilities of being able to range an object and adjust your point of impact based on the ranges. Really, really good image. It's definitely for a specific type of hunter at the 1.75 base magnification. So, if your average shooting is going to be, 150 yards or in, I mean, you can definitely take a longer shot than that. It is good for a lot of different situations, but that 150 yard and in, really good wide field of view. You can also, because it is a 1024, you can bump it up there and take some longer range shots as well. But great optic, great picture image. It's Pulsar product, so it's going to be good and definitely worth a mention here. My second honorable mention would have to be the Hybrid 75. You said a lot about it, Jason. Probably the best long range shooting thermal scope on the market for true 4-power base magnification, 640 resolution. It's got the hybrid name, so that does mean, that you can use it as a clip-on.
Oh my gosh.
I would never do that.
I would never even have mentioned that. Let me tell you,
I think we set it up one time to show what it would look like.
Gosh.
And out there past the daytime optic, and I swear that the Hybrid 75 was hanging off the end of my 18-inch barrel.
Yeah.
So
you can also stand up on the hood of your truck and drive down the road.
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
But
picture image is fantastic, y'all. If your average shot is 200 yards and further, and you're hunting coyotes or whatever, but your average shot's over 200 yards, that Hybrid 75 is a dang good scope. $79.99 is the price on that. And as you know, it does come with a laser rangefinder. And so great optic. Definitely worth the mention. Those are both my honorable mentions, the XL50 and the Hybrid 75.
Okay, well, I'm going to tag along and I'm going to say I want to give the honorable mention, honorable to the Hybrid 75 as well. I mean, I'm not going to say anything else about it. I love that scope. My main honorable mention is going to be on the Infrared Outdoor TX60. That scope is just an unbelievable optic at the 3-power base magnification and the 1024. The image quality that you're getting, it is fantastic. There's a lot of great things about the scope. The 18650 that it takes, now natively, just putting it in on the side as your external battery. The 2560 by 2560 display screen. So many good things about it. It is unbelievable. I love where we're going here with the 1024s. and the 1280s and where all this is moving. I cannot wait to see the future, and I think this scope is almost my winner, and I'll explain why it's not in just a second.
Okay, so now it's time for our favorite high-end thermal scope award. And Jason, for me, there's really only one clear winner. I mean, all the rest are just getting a ribbon, a participation ribbon. No, I'm
Oh
joking. I'm
gosh.
joking. I'm being unkind. No, my winner, and there's a lot of great scopes on this, but my winner is the Infrared Outdoor Bolt TX60C, the 1024 by 1024 3 to 16 power scope. And the reason why it's a winner, a lot of reasons. The picture image is fantastic. The fact that it's a 3-power base magnification, I feel like makes it prime, or makes it a good fit for probably the majority of the market. Now, there are a lot of guys out there that shoot close range in the woods. Yeah, 3-power scope is not going to be great for you if you're hunting in the woods. But most people now these days enjoy having a little bit more base magnification. A lot of people now, even the hog hunters, they're also out there trying to shoot coyotes. So, coyote hunters typically want to start at a 3-power base magnification. So I think that really makes that scope more appealing for the broader base of the night hunting market. So 3 to 16 power, Jason, as you know, it's got that 2560 by 2560 display screen, just that really big display. Everything looks beautiful and bright in it. It does have the ability to take the iRay Bluetooth laser rangefinder with it as well. You can, it's just a great scope, great picture image, really where you notice the difference. Yes, when you have it on base magnification, everything looks great. You see details, a lot of detail in the foreground, in the background, in the animal. But when you go from like 3-power to 4-power, because it's an incremental magnification, so it goes 3 to 4, 5, 6, and up. Man, that picture image, when you go from 3 to 6-power, picture image still looks great, because you're dropping from 1024. When you go to 6-power, you're still at 512 resolution. So you could make a case that it's a good long range shooting thermal too. If you do a lot of intermediate shooting, mostly under 200 yards, which most people at night are shooting under 200 yards. There's a few that aren't, but if you're an intermediate hunter, like the vast majority of people are, and you want to be able to take some long shots too, great scope, Jason.
So
the best thing about it, the price, $69.99, $7,000, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But you look at that, and sorry, I keep interrupting, but I want to say one thing.
You're done.
You mentioned it before. I would say that scope is right up there with that $16,000 1280 iRay. I mean, I'm telling you, and it's $7,000. So anyway, all right, I have held the mic long enough. You go ahead.
No. So I said we were going to play tic-tac-toe, and we kind of are. So Hans gave, we both liked the hybrid. We had to give that an honorable mention. Hans took the XL as his honorable. I took the TX60. He took the TX60 as his favorite. I'm going to take the XL as my favorite. So we literally have done this cross between there. I'm going to tell you the truth. These two optics, the XL and the TX60, I think that I could take either one of them as my favorite. But I'm going to tell you why I chose what I chose. I am choosing the XL50 as my favorite because it is my personal favorite. It is a 1.75 power. I have this optic right now zeroed down there on my American Defense rifle in my gun safe. All right. I love that super wide field of view because I do way more hog hunting than I do coyote hunting. And I do it by myself, spotting, stalking, close range, getting up there in their face. I love that style of hunting. And so I need that wide field of view and that super low magnification. I do think the scope, as Hans mentioned, the XL has that ability for that really, really close range, but it can be zoomed up to 3.5 power, still have a 512 resolution, and still be good for the guy who wants to shoot 200 or 300 yards. I would say this, though, and this is kind of what I alluded to in the beginning of the show. I do think that the TX60 and the XL are they're both fantastic scopes, but they have two different intended, users. We
Right.
get this question a lot. And again, I don't want to go on this deep rabbit trail, but it's like, hey, I'm looking at these two scopes and I'm, and I understand why. They're the same price and they're both 1024. But in reality, one of them is a claw hammer and one of them is a sledgehammer. Both great tools, two different uses. And that's where I think you've got to figure out what kind of hunting you're doing. I wholeheartedly agree with Hans that the 3 power on the TX60 is better for way, way bigger percentage of the market today than the 1.75 on the XL. Again, I think the guys who the XL is for, it's fantastic.
Right.
But the guys that are going to be hunting coyotes are going to be doing most of their shooting out there over 100 yards. I think that the TX60 is the better optic for the guys that are hunting close range and but still want that ability for the long range. I think that's where the XL really shines. I had a guy that asked me, he said, it just doesn't make any sense if you're telling me that the XL is really made, you think its sweet spot is that, under 75 yards, maybe 100. So why would somebody pay $7,000 and have a scope that you're saying the sweet spot is under 75 yards? And I say it's because they want the best image quality they can get for the style of hunting. The same reason that, at least in Texas, I don't want to project this on anywhere else, but in Texas and much of the South, there are an extremely large amount of people that drive around four-door diesel pickup trucks that haven't hooked a trailer to it since the day they bought it
Easy
or
now.
put anybody
Easy.
in the
You are
back
stepping
seat.
on. You're stepping on some toes now. You better just.
But
you better
listen,
stay in your lane.
yeah, no, I know. But the truth is, I don't care. You got the money to buy a four-door diesel pickup truck and take your kids to soccer practice. Good for you. That's great. I don't care. Same thing with this XL50. Yeah, you are spending a lot of money if all you're ever going to do is shoot 75 yards at hogs, or hunt in the woods or do whatever. But you're going to have the best darn optic on the market for that. And so, again, really, I think this is one of those where Hans and I are juggling this because both of these are so good. Again, for me personally, my style of hunting, the XL50 fits me better. And that's why it's on my rifle. But I do know that for the majority of our customers that we talk to are doing more predator hunting or even hog hunting at longer ranges, and that TX60 fits them better. So just to recap, I think it's basically Hans's choice is the infrared outdoor bolt TX60C, and then the Pulsar Thermion 2 XL50 LRF. That's his honorable mention, and just flip flop those for me. And you've got it, guys.
Yep.
Listen, this list is smaller, and this list is it's smaller than the other categories. I don't know if it's smaller than it was last year. And I know that we're kind of glossing over some scopes on here, but I just think the technology is just getting better and better, and the prices are getting better and better. And here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to end with this. And I tell this to guys on the phone. It is hard for me to believe that something like the Bolt TX60C, which I would say arguably being a true 1024 by 1024, has the best thermal image on the market today. And I can say that and say it's $7,000. Now, $7,000 is a lot of money, but it's not 10,000. It's not 16,000. It's $7,000. Yes, that's a bunch, but man, that's not much when we're talking about the two best thermal optics, in our opinion, our pick out of everything available to a U.S. citizen that's going to go, hog or coyote predator hunting, $69.99. Guys, these are good times to be a night hunter.
They are. And considering, Jason, a year ago, we were talking about the winners being an $18,000 scope and a $10,000 scope. And the year before that,
That's right.
so you're getting better optics now. for $7,000 with the infrared Bolt TX60 and the Pulsar XL50. So you're right, man. It is great, and who knows what this list is going to look like next year with the competition the way it is, with the resolutions going up on all these scopes. It's going to be a dogfight next year, and it was a dogfight this year. So if you are seeing this list and you have questions, if you want to make sure, this is a lot of money and you want to make sure that you're making the right choice, I completely understand. And I would encourage you to give us a call, 877-350-1818. You're making an important decision, an expensive decision. You want to make sure that you have the confidence that you're choosing the right optic. And really the way that you can do that is just to talk to people that have used all the scopes on this list, and that's Jason and I. I did have the Bolt TX60 on my rifle for 3 or 4 months, and then it was rudely asked back by Jason, who asked for it back, who had the audacity to ask for his scope back.
I know. You believe that? I'm a terrible guy.
Boss. Yeah. So, but yes, we use and test all this stuff, and you can call us and you can talk to us directly. We'd love to have your business. We'd love to earn your business. We don't expect it. We know we have to earn it. And we definitely want to have that opportunity. 877-350-1818. outdoorlegacy.com. If you want to find all of our past episodes, you can go to YouTube. You can search on YouTube. You can go to our website, theLateNightVisionShow.com. If you're looking for a scope or a scope review, more chances than not, we've reviewed it. If we haven't, it's just because we're getting to it. But if you want to know, if you're like, man, I'm interested in this scope, just go to YouTube, type in the Late Night Vision Show and type in the scope that you're trying to find more information on. There's a good chance we've talked about it. So you can search on there. Also, you can find us on all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Jason, Outdoor Legacy. You can find on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. He floats around on a lot of the Facebook forums as well, being nice and answering questions over there on those Facebook forums. And also, you can find me on YouTube, Hans ETX. That's HANSETX, and on Facebook and on Instagram. Jason.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this show. We do have the handheld thermals coming up. We will be doing that show as well for our best of. Got some more scope reviews coming as well. Hans and I are both out there working hard to get footage of some optics that we've had for a little bit, and getting ready to review those coming in soon this fall. If you, again, Hans has told you, you're looking for anything this fall, any type of thermal optic, we'd love to have your business at Outdoor Legacy. Hope to see you here again next week. Between now and then, y'all stay safe.